Hey, welcome everybody. Unit 2, Week 2, whatever, Module 2. You can call it what you want, but we're in the second week of the course. And some great discussions. There's some great introduction information. So thank you for doing that. Because really, if you don't introduce yourself, it makes it a lot harder for me to get to know you and kind of, strangely enough, tailor the course a little bit in your direction. I mean, if somebody says, I really have an interest in recruiting, then we'll try and work on that a little more. We'll try and do some different things. Or maybe somebody says, benefits are my thing. I really want to be a certified benefits employment specialist. Then we can do some things on that. Maybe let's have a Zoom meeting or something. And we're not using Zoom, sorry, Teams meeting, because we've switched over to Microsoft Teams. So please forgive my use of Zoom. I used Zoom for a number of years before we made the switch. But be that as it may, we want to make the course applicable to your interests and needs within the objectives and the course outcomes, because obviously we have to do that. But so week 2, you can see the learning objectives. I'm not going to read them to you, but I'll be honest with you, we're really looking at that recruitment function, if you will, from the aspect of the job analysis and job description as it applies to talent management. So you can see there's some videos, the chapter slides are there. If you're pressed for time, you can zip through the slides, but there's some good information in the text. So I don't advocate short-circuiting that process if you can help it. And then in the first discussion, I plugged in a video in which we talk about the job analysis in a little more detail, because that's the first discussion question. The second discussion question broadens that out just a little bit more as we talk about talent management as a whole. And then, of course, we have a written assignment this week coming up in which we talk about job descriptions. And please, anytime there's an assignment in which you use a job description and stuff, I really would encourage you to look at a job that you'd like or one that is interesting to you outside of the military. Because I know that there's job descriptions and they're written to ad infinitum and such. But really, even if you say, well, I want to be an operations manager, or I want to be, a maintenance chief, or whatever that job is, go out to some other sources. Don't rely on the military, because, and the reason I say that is those job descriptions are in depth, but typically what I find is the student's very familiar with it, but it also gives them a very myopic process. They don't get any exposure to the broader development, because boys and girls, the military career, you're going to retire or punch out at some point. And most likely, even if you retire, you're going to find you probably still want to work, because that's the nice thing. You're still young enough that you can work, but you can be a little more selective because you're getting that income and things on the side. I worked with, when I taught at the University of Phoenix for a few years, one of our academic advisor, he kind of managed the local site there in Wichita, was retired from the Navy. And we were talking about it one time, and he said, yeah, he goes, the nice part is, if I get laid off tomorrow, I know I still have an income, but it gives me a reason to get up in the morning and go to work and do some things. And he was a great guy. But so getting back to the topic at hand, and I apologize, I digress. Job analysis. Look in the video. Eric Van Olpen, I can't pronounce his last name very well, does a really good job of explaining that. So I'm not going to belittle that point. Job descriptions, we've kind of talked about those. Now, here's where it gets interesting. You can take the job description, and you'll see this. Go out to Indeed, Glassdoor, your favorite employment site, and look at some job postings, if you will. And you'll see those companies where they went in and copied the job description and pasted it right into the job link. And there's nothing wrong with that. However, sometimes that's, it's kind of like chewing a handful of sawdust. It's really dry. It doesn't tell you much. What about the company? What benefits do they have? Why should I work there? What appeals to other employees to make them apply through that? So companies have decided, that the old days of copying and pasting, excuse me, the job description in doesn't really help. They need to put in other information. So it's a blend of the job description and then some information about the company or benefits and why people should work there. It's a whole new world from what it used to be. So when we look at job descriptions, or we talk about job descriptions and then we talk about job postings, don't use the terms interchangeably, because a lot of times they are not interchangeable any longer. So with that in mind, I'm going to close out. Everybody have a great week, and I will be in the classroom. But if you need something, drop a question in the question board or reach out to me via email. That's usually